How y'all doing out there in YouTube land? This is Stiletto coming at you from the Wild Wild West. Well, today we're going to have a continuation on the video I made yesterday about my new Demko Knives AD20.5. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. I have figured it out. I figured out how to fidget with it. I found that it likes to be finger flicked, middle finger flicked, especially if you're using a thumb stud. My finger blocked it right there. Sorry for the fail. Especially if you use a thumb stud, it likes to be finger flicked that way. Now, then to close it, because I haven't done what I'm going to do this afternoon with you guys yet on the shark fin, where it's got this jimping that like stabs my finger. I've been using my thumb all day because my thumb is tougher than my finger. Because it hurts the finger still. But I figured out how to actually fidget with it. Took it to work with me today, all the way to work. In my right hand, I was fidgeting with the knife while I was driving with the left hand. Don't you do that. I'm not telling you to do that, but that's what I did today. And on the way home. Absolutely love it. It's all broken in now. It must have been opened and closed about 1,000 times by now. It's like my Benchmade SOCP was like that too at first. It was a little bit stiff and it didn't want to fidget that well at first. But then it became one of my favorites. I think this one's going to do the same thing. And you know what? I still am going to get some more scales. But I have another one of these coming on the way that has the clip point blade. So, because I want to have a clip point version and the shark's foot version. And I think I'm going to, when that one comes in, I think I'm going to put titanium scales on that one. Why? Because I like the orange. And I know this is the Grevix or whatever, but I still like it. I like the orange. I like this knife just the way it is. So I'm going to leave this knife the way it is. I'm not going to mod its appearance. The only thing I'm going to change is the pocket clip. When my Lynch Northwest pocket clip comes in, I ordered one that was, stonewashed. The stonewashed version. And it's a deep carry pocket clip. And it's made to fit with this knife. And that's the only thing I'm going to change on it, because I do want it to sit down in my pocket. I don't like having this part sticking out. Because it's bright orange, and then plus the shiny pocket clip, it attracts too much attention. Even though I'm not really worried about people seeing this knife, that's why I don't really mind that it's orange or a bright color. Because this is totally legal everywhere where I live. In the Bay Area, in Sacramento, and all the 916, this is totally legal. This is legal everywhere. So I don't care if people really see this one, because you can't get in trouble for this. This blade is a little bit shorter than 3 inches. It's like 3 inches almost right on the dot. But it's just like a hair shorter than 3 inches. So even in the places that have the 3-inch blade limits, this is going to be perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. I can carry this anywhere. I could use it at the post office, blah, 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 blah. I like it. And I like it because all my other knives, except for my Kiku, that have blades that are this size or smaller, you know, like the Hogue, my Hogue micro flip, and what else do I have? The California Legal Knives from ProTech and Kershaw, and well, my Mini Lawman, I could actually fit my whole hand on that one. That one's pretty intense. That's a really awesome knife. But this one's like one of the first ones I've been able to like have a complete grip on that has a small blade like that. That's legal everywhere. And so that's another attractive thing about this knife to me, is that, you know, normally you guys know I like the bigger knives. And I would love to have an AD20. And I understand, I heard it through the grapevine. I don't know how true it is. I haven't heard it from any of the Demkos yet. But I heard that there's going to be a budget AD20. Just like this one. Only it's going to be an AD20. They're going to use the Grivery and the Oz 10 and make an AD20, and it's going to be a production knife. So that might be coming out this year sometime. That might be new for this year. That might be the one that's going to be coming out this year. And if that comes out, I'm jumping on it. I'm pre-ordering, doing whatever I got, but I want to get at least a couple of them when they first come out. And especially if they have them for being under $200, I'm gonna get two of them. Because I think that's what they should do. They should have You know, maybe have the bigger AD20 in between 150 to 200, and have this one in between 100 and 150. That'd be cool. I wouldn't have a problem with that. Because the other 80-20s that are big, you know, even the one with the Griv-X, it costs what? $375, $350? You know, they say the price is $350, but I haven't seen $350. I've seen $375. You know, and that's like on eBay or the aftermarket, you know, the places that you can still get them. But, and I'm not going to spend like that much money for a knife with Griv-X handles and a D2 blade. That's not happening. I'm not doing it. I don't care if it is handmade. I'm not doing it. And I love the shark slot. But I don't care if it's got the shark slot. I'm not spending that much money for something with a D2 blade and Griv-X handle. It's just not happening with me. You got to come up. You got to be powdered steel and a desirable handle material. You can't be budget. You can't be having budget materials and charging, you know, a half a G for it. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. I don't have sucker written across my forehead. But it's my understanding that they're going to come out with an 80-20, an 80-20, and it's going to be, you know, made just like this one, and I hope it's going to be under $200. I hope that. I hope they don't get stupid and try to, you know, ask too much for it, because it's a production knife. These are production knives. These aren't handmade knives. These are factory-made knives, so they deserve to be, you know, in the factory price category, with other knives that are, you know, comparable to them as far as materials and everything are concerned, and lock types. This isn't a handmade knife. This isn't it's not a machine ground blade knife, or, you know, partially handmade, you know, a machine made knife. This is a total factory knife. And total factory knives with Griv-X and in Oz 10 stainless steel, they cost under $100. They don't cost over $100. They cost under $100. That's my opinion. The same thing goes for knives with Griv-X and D2. They cost under $100 too. I bought a whole bunch of them this past year for less than $50. You know, so you can't tell me that a factory knife with these kind of materials should cost, you know, some $300 or $400. I'm not going for that. Or even, you know, I think this is overpriced, but I really love the knife. I think this should be made more like around $100 or something like that. Because I have lots of knives that I bought this past year for under $100 that have a lot better materials than this knife. But they don't have the shark lock. That's what this knife has that the other knives don't have. Just like when the Deadbolt came out, they were, you know, having the 4116 corrupt stainless steel, and everybody was complaining about that because they were charging $100 for it. Well, that's a factory-made knife too, and that knife was made in Taiwan, just like this knife was made in Taiwan in a factory. This knife wasn't made in the United States; it's made in Taiwan. And other knives that you get from Taiwan will have the same quality, the same materials, and cost $50 or less, or $75 or less. Let me say $75 or less. That'll include the cogent. And so, you know, I don't know. I think it's overpriced. But I absolutely love it too at the same time. So, I'm torn. I'm torn. I'm torn. And I'm looking forward to getting my other one too. And I would love to have the 80-20. Even if I had to pay $200 for something with Grivery and Oz 10. I would do that for 80-20. I would rather pay less. That's what I'm saying. But anyway, let's check this one out. Let's take it apart. And like I was saying, I'm gonna take away the hotspot on this one. The shark fin right here, where you have to use it to disengage the lock. It's been biting me, so I don't know if it's just mine or if that's the way all these are made. I asked a couple of people on the internet today that have done videos on these. Let's get their opinion. So let's start with the T6. So. It's supposed to be T6 and T10 as far as I know. How's everybody doing out there? Hope everybody's doing okay. But yeah, this knife was awesome at work. Use it for food prep. It's an awesome little knife. Well, I never did weigh for you guys. That's why I put the scale out here for you. I noticed when I watched the video I didn't weigh it. Forgot to weigh it. I should probably put the screws back in it now, huh? We'll weigh it for you really quick, and then we can move the scale out the way. I'm not going to screw the screws back in. I'll just give them the weight. 3.6 ounces. 3.6 ounces is what mine weighs. Okay, we can move this out the way now. All right. And like I said before, I absolutely love this knife because this is a knife I can take anywhere where I live and not have to worry about getting in trouble because I'm carrying it. Even in the places that are the most strict on knife laws, like in the Bay Area and stuff, this would be totally safe there. It's coming apart pretty easily. Okay, I understand that there's a spring right here and it might pop out, so bear with me. There's the spring. It didn't quite pop out. I caught it before it did pop out, actually. But here's the slide. Now you guys, nice, looks nicely constructed. Looks nice and thick. That's the shark slide. And that's the part that I need to modify. This right here, this part right at the tip. That's all we're going to mess with. It has bearings in it. You can see the bearings. They're cage bearings. They're real small looking though. They're not big looking bearings. Yep, you can see them on this side. This knife's not even dirty or anything, so I'm not worried about cleaning it. I'm just going to put a little bit of oil in it. A little dab of grease and oil. I always like to use a little bit of grease. Let me see, what can I use? What is this? So I just want to put a little bit on the bearings. There we go. Yeah, right. Put a little dab of oil in there too. Just lubing all the parts. Steel likes to be oiled and lubed. Don't think it's cool to rerun your stuff dry all the time. Steel likes oil. Even if it's stainless steel, it likes oil still. It likes to be lubed. That's what I learned as a mechanic in the U.S. Army. A heavy equipment diesel mechanic, tank mechanic. Oil and grease are extremely important when you have metal against metal parts. I know people don't like to put a lot of oil and grease in things because it also will collect dust and you have to clean it more often, but that's okay. Because when you clean it, you're maintaining it. Oh, we got some, what does it say right here? Got something on there. I'm going to get the magnifying glass so I can read it. Okay. See what it says. It says patent number US 10, 632, 638, or is that a B? Might be either a B or an 8. I think it's a B1. So you got the patent number on it. So it's all numbered and patent. And the blade, by the way, the blade says Oz 10A Taiwan on this side. And on the other side, we got the Demko signature. I don't think I showed you guys that yesterday either. And the part that I just read, all right, let's get busy with this thing. What we're going to be doing, I'm going to be doing a little bit of wet sanding. That's what we got the bowl here for. It's got some water in it. Here's what the scales look like. They're really thin. They're really just to cover up the only purpose of them is to be a cover, basically. There's no strength or anything to these because these are really thin. So you're relying on the steel liners for the strength in the handle. You're not relying on the Grivex. All right, here we go. We're going to start off with, I don't know if I need 180. Let's go a little bit. Let's try 600. 600 grit wet sandpaper. Because I just want to take it off just barely. It's only going to take me a second to do this probably. Because I just want to make it not feel sharp on my finger. You see, like right here, is where it feels sharp on my finger. And I just want to mellow that out a little bit. I'm going to fold this up. Just put a little bit of water on it. I always try to do things on flat surfaces. Let me see if that was enough. I think that's enough. Okay. I think we got it. Maybe it just had a burr on it or something. Because that didn't take nothing to make that feel better. So maybe mine had a burr on it, people. I don't know. When my other one gets here, we'll find out. The other one I have coming is a clip point blade. AD20.5. So when that one gets here, we'll find out if that was just I might have just deburred it. Because it feels perfectly fine now. It has like the right amount of grip. I don't want to sand it anymore because I don't want to make it be like a polished finish where it'd be slippery. My finger would slide off of it. I'm not trying to do that. Now, okay, let's put some grease on them. One thing I've always learned about like Omega knives with Omega locks, and sliding locks with springs in them. If you put grease on the springs last longer. And that's what I did with my Benchmade SOP 391BK. I broke the Omega spring in it, and I replaced the spring with springs I got off of eBay. Got like 10 springs for $12 on eBay, Omega springs. And I'm pretty sure, they're probably from China or somewhere or whatever. They weren't the original Benchmade springs. I'm pretty sure of that. Not for that price. And they were brand new. The guy was selling a whole bunch of them. You probably still go get some more if you want some more. Okay, let's see if we can put this in here without popping out and shooting out on us. Okay, that went in nice and easy. I've seen other people have problems with it. I forgot one crucial component. It needs a blade. Okay, this might be where it gets tricky because I bet you have to. Yep, that's where it gets tricky. Okay. The spring popped out when I did that, when I put the blade on. So it's best to put the blade on first and then put on the spring. Spring goes in easy. It's not hard. I would call this an easy knife to pull maintenance on. It's not a hard knife to pull maintenance on. But, you know, I'd expect that from Andrew Demko. What happened? My pivot turn on me? Ah, I see what's going on. The pivot pin came out. Okay. Well, we're going to put the spring in again. Got to take the spring out. Put that part back on there. Okay, everything looks lined up right now. The D on it's got a D on pivot screw, a D-shaped pivot screw, so it only can go in one way. There we go. Put a little grease on top of that too. We just want grease on the bearings. I don't want grease everywhere, because then you will get a lot of dirt and grease real quick. Just on the bearings. Almost feels like the pivot's not all the way in, but it looks like it is. Okay. I think that's just where it lies. But yeah, I like these orange scales. They look cool. This is the first knife I've ever had with, you know me, you guys. My knives are usually either black or OD green. And so, you know, when I got the prints, the Purple Rain, that started making me want different colors, because I thought it was kind of fun to have that color. And this color looks fun too. And probably in public, you know, if somebody sees this in public, it'll look less aggressive. It'll look more like it's not meant to be a weapon, which it's not. This is not a weapon to me. I mean, you know, every knife could be a weapon, but that wouldn't be the purpose, the reason why I'd be carrying this one. I'd be carrying it because I want a utility knife that I can use for all my utility purposes. Cutting chores and things throughout the day. That's the purpose of this knife to me. It's meant to be a user. You know, I mean, I'll get one to collect, but this is going to be my user one. I know probably when I get the one, I do the titanium, fly titanium or snaggletooth MF, I hear, might be making some scales too. That screw doesn't feel like it wants to go in right. Let's swap the screws. The other thing I learned as a mechanic, it's not good to force screws. If they don't want to work in a certain hole, then try them in a different hole. Like we just did right then. Okay. Okay, let's see where we are. All right, when you get the tight spot, that's right when this one centers out. So I want to back it off a little bit. I don't want it to be too tight. Right about there. Let's try it right there. Perfect. I like it. Oh, that feels so much better now. That feels so much better. It's not killing me to use it. Oh yeah, that's better. Alright guys and gals, you saw how I did that. That's all this video is supposed to be all about. Just supposed to be the little tune-up on the knife here to make it a little bit more comfortable to use. That's all I was trying to do. And I absolutely love my AD20.5. It's going to be a perfect little knife for me. And I do mean a perfect little knife because this will be my little knife for the next year. Whenever I want to carry a little knife, this will be the one. Because I have to empty out my drawer and take out all the knives from last year. And this is going to be the first one in it this year. So after I empty it out, this will be the only one in my rotation drawer. Until I get the next one. And we already got, you know, a couple more that we need to unbox this month. Oh man, with the grease on it makes it smoother. I love it. It feels really good in reverse grip too, if you did have to use it for self-defense. It's got a really good, because Andrew Demko, I think he's a black belt. Like a higher degree black belt too. He's into martial arts. So when he makes things, I'm sure he makes them and thinks of them as being a self-defense tool also. But I think he always tries to make things be practical and useful, but he also makes things that'll be good in combat. This is a really nice knife. I like it. Absolutely love it. I like how it's made. I like how it's constructed. You know, now that I've seen firsthand how it's constructed, it's very well constructed. And when you readjust it, it goes right to center. It goes right to center. So it's very well machined. You know, if this knife had G10 handles on it and I don't know, a S30V or S35VN or even like a 154 CM or CPM 154. This, especially CPM 154. If this had CPM 154, stainless steel and G10 handle scales, I would say this would be worth $150 all day long. Just a little slight swap of the materials like that, it would make this knife really worth what they're asking for it. I think as a production knife, with the materials that it has, I think it's a little bit overpriced. And I love Andrew Demko, and I love Demko Knives. I love everything about Andrew Demko Knives. I've been following him forever, and I love all of his, you know, he's the reason why I'm a triad person. And I just think this knife is overpriced. But it's an excellent knife. At the same time, it's an excellent knife. It's an excellent knife. No blade wobble up and down or anything in this knife. And it's been opened and closed a million times. It's been opened and closed hard and soft. So I was trying to figure out which way it works the best for me. It's an awesome knife. Awesome knife. Absolutely love it. Look at the balance. That's one thing that Andrew always usually gets right too, is the balance on knives. That's perfect balance, 50-50. Perfect balance. I would love to have an AD20 now. After having this knife, it makes me want an AD20 because you know me, I like the bigger knives. But this is it's a near perfect, it's a little knife. I mean, it fits my, what 3-inch blade, there's not that many knives with 3-inch blades or smaller that have handles that you can actually hold on to really nicely. That's one thing I've always liked about Andrew Demko. He always makes good handles for his knives. Not just good, strong blade shapes, but he also makes good handles and great locks. He comes up with some really useful tools. They're really useful as tools. They're not just show pieces. They're real tools. They're meant for work. Absolutely love it. That's my AD20.5. The first video knife for this year, 2022. 2022. Happy New Year, y'all. Peace out. Stiletto.